Hey guys! The next 7 cards from the Saviors of Uldum have been revealed, and we'll be reviewing them with our non-5-star rating system. In case you didn't see the previous video, let's recount the 3 questions Hearthstone players really want to know, which these card reviews are asking. First, will the card fit into one of the current powerful decks, usually Tier 1 through Tier 3 decks from HS Replay's tier list, which we will call meta decks. So, is it meta now? Second, will the card fit into a meta deck once the set comes out? Meaning, if it won't slot into a current deck, is it powerful enough to help make a new deck archetype viable? At least taking into account what has been revealed thus far. So, is it meta later? And perhaps most importantly, is it a card that will inspire or enable crazy, experimental, or meme decks? So, is it meme deck worthy? Each card will get a yes or no to these questions. Now, for those of you without a lot of time, there's a time code in the description below to jump to for quick reviews. For everyone else, let's get into the detailed reviews.
Who's up for an adventure?
The first card we'll be reviewing today is the Plague of Madness, a spell for Rogue which gives each player a 2/2 knife with poisonous, meaning it can kill a minion as long as it damages the minion. And in case you're curious, this is what the 2/2 knife with poisonous looks like. This card has so many ways it can be used. As it's only a 1-cost spell, it can come out early for a little extra damage, or it can be used to remove a taunt minion that's keeping you from finishing off your opponent. Or it can be used in conjunction with Gadget Zan Auctioneer to draw a card cheaply, though your opponent will be able to kill your Auctioneer easily if he's not protected. Or it can be used as weapon removal / replacement, though you would only likely use this against other rogues or warriors in that case. And finally, it can even be paired with Harrison Jones to draw a couple cards fairly cheaply. As to whether it is meta now, according to HS Replay, the only 2 rogue decks within tiers 1 through 3 are Hooktusk Rogue and Tempo Rogue. The big minions both of these decks get from Highsparrow Togwaggle and Edwin Van Cleef make me hesitate, but at least in Tempo Rogue, with a Leroy Jenkins Shadow Step combo to do 12 damage to the face, I could see using this to clear a taunt in the way or activate the Waggle Pick a turn early. It would probably only be a 1-of in each deck. So, meta now. For all of the reasons mentioned already, and the sheer flexibility of the card, I'm sure it will be meta later too, as I could see this as a potential bait weapon for removal in an academic espionage Spectral Cutlass deck. I think it will enable a few meme wins for us, so I'm gonna go ahead and say it's meme deck worthy. The next card revealed was Psychopomp, a new minion for Priest, which summons a random friendly minion that died this game and gives it reborn. Lots of reviewers for this card have discussed the potential drawback of this being able to summon itself if you run 2 copies of it, and diluting the resurrection pool. But its aggressive stat line and the resilience of what it brings back, low statted or not, make this a remarkably powerful card. At the moment, the only meta Priest deck is the Mech Combo Priest relying on Divine Spirit and Inner Fire on a high health minion to finish off the opponent. This could be used to bring back an upgradable Framebot or unpowered Steambot the turn before a combo goes off. As the minion can be healed when brought back from Reborn, they would actually have to kill whichever bot you bring back twice to keep you from using your combo the following turn. And the deck runs Circle of Healing to help get them back up to high health. So including this would probably help the deck have a better win rate in the current meta. Given the power level of this card, I would not be surprised if a deck using this climbs to tier 2 or higher, depending on the other Priest cards from this set. So let's give it meta later as well. Loot Hoarder into Psychopomp to help cycle through your deck for a Nomi Seance speed finish. Why yes, I'll play that meme deck. During their stream on Sunday, Blizzard revealed the next 3 Paladin cards together. The first is the Brazen Zealot, a 2/1 minion that gets +1 attack whenever you summon a minion. With only 1 health, it's not very resilient. But if it can be dropped on turn 1, it will demand removal because of the potential for it to snowball into a massive attack minion doing huge amounts of damage. Later in the game, it will be able to pair with something like Blessing of Kings to overcome its main weakness at only 5 mana total. Both cards would work well in an aggressive deck. That being said, neither of the current Paladin meta decks, Mech and Holy Wrath, would run this. However, given its aggressiveness and the synergy with another card covered in this review, I think it will fit nicely in an aggro paladin during the next expansion. Whether that type of paladin will be effective enough to reach meta status will likely depend on the other cards coming, but I think it's likely, so we'll call it meta later. Is it possible to make a 30 attack Brazen Zealot? What about a deck full of 1 health minions? Do you think we can make a meme deck or two with this? I do. They also revealed the Swamp Wasp Queen at the same time. It's a 3/1 minion whose battle cry adds 2 2/1 sand wasps to your hand, meaning you get 2 extra beasts from playing this card. Does the beast tag matter? Probably not, but it's there. And so, if you're curious, this is what the sand wasps look like. A 3/1 for 2 mana is not usually very exciting, and honestly, of the 3 paladin cards that were revealed, I think this is the weakest. It does give you a few more resources to play with in an aggressive deck likely to run out of cards quickly, so the aggressive decks these cards spawn might include it. This card doesn't fit into either of the current paladin meta decks either, so it's not meta now. Of these 3 cards, I would think this has the least likelihood of being included in a meta deck later. Nevertheless, the fact that all 3 of these were revealed together gives me a sneaking suspicion that another few paladin cards will help support this archetype. So I'll go ahead and predict it as meta later. Just barely. This would fit nicely into a deck with all 1 health minions, and who knows, maybe Beast Paladin will make a comeback? At least pairing with the others will give it meme deck worthy status. And to help draw out those 1 health minions, Paladin also got Sal Heads Pride, a 3/1 whose death rattle draws 2 1 health minions from your deck. At 3 mana, this is the most expensive of these 1 health minions revealed. However, it does draw 2 1 health minions from your deck. This one could actually fit into Holy Wrath Paladin to draw Loot Hoarders and Novice Engineers to help draw through their deck quickly. This probably would be a meta now card. For this reason and other potential combinations, I could see this as being a useful card in the new meta as well. The high cost on a 1 health minion is a major drawback, but the draw 2 cards part of the card is nice enough that I think it will earn its place. If we no longer consider Holy Wrath Paladin a meme deck, that hurts this card's meme worthiness. But the 1 health cost deck and the potential to draw into other crazy combos keeps this solidly in the meme-worthy tier. Once we defeated 75% of the bosses from the Firefest Evil, the next card was revealed. It's the Plague of Murlocs, a shaman spell which transforms all minions into random Murlocs. Wow, there is a lot to say about these Plague cards. So, if your opponent has a bunch of cards with high stats or death rattle effects, this is insane. If you're able to flood the board with low-cost minions and transform them into Murlocs, this is insane. If you play a Murloc deck with things that buff Murlocs, this is insane. If you couldn't guess, I think this card is pretty good. Unless your opponent forces you to cast it with Unseen Saboteur when they have a ton of low-cost minions, you'll control when it's played. And Shaman can often get to a point that this can be cast in a way that will help swing the game. Though the times when you give your opponent all Murloc War Leaders and Nightmare Amalgams, probably the hardest to remove and dangerous combination, will feel pretty bad. Both Murloc Shaman and Control Shaman might consider running this. Murloc Shaman as a heal of sorts for a weakened board, and hopeful high roll of Bluegill Warriors to finish the game, and Control Shaman to prepare for a cheaper board clear. So yes, meta now. There are so many ways that this can be used that it must fit into a deck after the expansion comes out. And yes, playing 50 games with a massive token generation deck for the one highlight reel of getting 3 Murloc War Leaders and 4 Bluegill Warriors for a 1 turn 32 damage combo is something someone will do eventually. And no, there are no Murlocs with Taunt to stop the combo at the moment. Though the chances of getting that combination are astronomically low, but worth it. Maybe. And next we have the cute little walking death monster. Wait, are those full-sized goblins in that picture? Correction. Next we have the cute, massive Tank of Death, which was the final card revealed by players defeating 25 million bosses during the Firefest Evil. This is the new legendary for Warrior, Armagadillo, a 6-mana 4/7 taunt minion, which gives all taunt minions in your hand +2 health and attack at the end of your turn. It's not a poorly statted minion, and if it buffs even one other taunt, it is well worth the mana cost. Opponents can't ignore it, or the cards it buffs, unless they silence them, but even then, it's forcing them to use resources. Surprisingly, even though it is extremely powerful, neither of the current meta warrior decks are likely to run this, as their only taunt minion is Ziliax, which would be good, but a legendary to buff a single cheaper legendary is unlikely to earn a slot in these crazy strong decks, so it is not meta now. In one of the recent patches, Security Reaver got cheaper, and Safeguard has been a staple in other stall decks. So I wouldn't be surprised if a more taunt-centered mech deck evolved to use this. However, although it is powerful, I'm not sure it will be powerful enough to compete with other overpowered warrior archetypes. Without more support from cards this expansion, it might not survive in the meta. I like it, and it's definitely cute, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it will not be meta later either. But that taunt mech deck, it can and will be built. 4 mana, 14/8 Omega Defenders. Here we come. And in Wild, this might make the old Quest Warrior great again. It's not an odd cost card, so it doesn't make it completely overpowered. But yeah, we'll see. That's all for this review. The Legendary Explorer cards have been revealed too, but they deserve their own separate review coming soon. TM. Now for the quick reviews. Plague of Madness is meta now, meta later, and meme-worthy. Psychopomp also scores full marks as meta now, meta later, and meme-worthy. Brazen Zealot is not meta now, but likely meta later, and is meme deck worthy. Sandwasp Queen is not meta now, just barely meta later, but meme worthy. Sal Heads Pride is meta now, meta later, and meme worthy. Plague of Murlocs, is meta now, meta later, and meme worthy. Finally, Armagadillo is not meta now, not meta later, but totally meme worthy. And that's a wrap. Of course, remember that this is a subjective review, but I am making some pretty direct predictions. Let me know in the comments below if you think I missed something, you agree or disagree with something I said. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep exploring. Okay. I mean, the card is not bad, but it's a freaking Armagadillo! Okay. Armagadillo. Armagadillo. It's just fun to say. I feel sorry for casters coming up.